More than 200 U.S. Navy sailors from World War II were exonerated today. They were found to be unjustly punished following the Port Chicago disaster of 1944. That summer, as ammunition was being loaded onto a cargo vessel in the East Bay, there was a massive explosion. 320 people were killed. More than 200 of them were Black Navy sailors. And of the surviving servicemen, 50 were later found guilty of mutiny for refusing to go back to work in those unsafe conditions. Their exoneration today, coming on the 80th anniversary of that deadly explosion in the East Bay. KRON 4's Noelle Bellow joining us here now live in studio with a look back on one of the worst disasters in U.S. military history and how they're trying to make things right now. Noelle.
Yeah, Justine, this exoneration is a very long time coming. All of the men have since passed away, but having their names cleared of wrongdoing is an important step toward fairness and restoring their honor. This week, I visited the memorial that now stands in remembrance of the men who lost their lives 80 years ago on this day in the Bay. There's no question why this former naval base is called Port Chicago. The whipping winds on the shoreline tell that story well. But the story of the hundreds of servicemen who lost their lives at this site 80 years ago isn't as well known.
This story has been kind of swept under the rug.
During World War II, Navy sailors were sent to Port Chicago on the southern banks of Sassoon Bay. The base was racially segregated. Commanding officers were all white and the sailors were all black. Those sailors were tasked with loading ammunition onto Liberty ships, transporting cargo and arms to the war zones.
2,000-pound blockbusters or warheads for torpedoes, 16-inch projectors, and anything in between.
It was a task no one on the base was properly trained for.
And I told my officers several times that one day this stuff is going to explode. And his answer was, if it does, you or I won't know anything about it.
And on July 17th, 1944, that's exactly what happened. At 10:18 p.m., two deafening explosions ripped through the base, blowing two ships out of the water and instantly killing 320 men. 202 of them were black sailors.
See, like the sun rose in a few seconds. Just plain daylight. From midnight to daylight in less than a second.
In 1990, KRON 4 produced a documentary called Port Chicago Mutiny, A National Tragedy. 3 survivors shared their stories. U.S. Navy men Joseph Small, Percy Robinson, and Robert Routh Jr. For Robert, the explosion was the last thing he ever saw.
I was laying in my bed with my head resting on my arm, looking in this direction, and the explosion came from this way. So obviously you raised up and looked towards the explosion. And flying glass and concussion. My left eye was so badly lacerated that it was removed that night.
You heard the people screaming. Then you hear the second floor coming down. And the guy, my bunkmate, next bunk, he couldn't get out. So his arm fell on the floor. Someone cut his arm off. Still more people screaming, trying to get out.
For survivors like Percy Robinson, the horrors of the next hours and days were tough to recall, as they were now fully aware of the dangers of the job. Not long after the tragedy, the Navy ordered the sailors to resume their work without addressing the hazardous conditions. Joseph Small was one of 50 black sailors, eventually known as the Port Chicago 50, who refused to go back.
And he asked the question, Small, are you going back to work? And I said, no, sir. And when I answered him, somebody over in the ranks said, if Small don't go, we're not going.
Accused of conspiring together, the Navy responded by charging the group with mutiny. During the trial, it was revealed their white officers had imposed a competition at the port, betting on whose group of black seamen could load the munitions fastest. Despite the disturbing details of conditions on the base being revealed, All 50 servicemen were found guilty.
We had not even thought of the word mutiny. It had not come up.
Though they were sentenced to lengthy prison terms, the men were all released quietly about a year later. They were, however, ordered to finish their terms with the Navy. Scrutiny from the disaster and trial did eventually lay the groundwork for reform. The Navy put safety practices in place, and despite originally being the most rigidly segregated military branch, the U.S. Navy became the first to desegregate 2 years later in 1946. Today, wooden posts from the original loading docks still stand above the bay waters, marking the Port Chicago Naval Magazine National Memorial. The solemn site holds with it a sense of immense loss, but also serves as a place of reflection and a reminder to never forget the men of Port Chicago.
That it is a very inspirational story to folks in that they are inspired to learn more, that they want to know more, that they want to help get this story out.
This week, the National Park Service and the City of Concord are going to be hosting several events to honor the bravery and the sacrifices of those men. On Saturday, a commemoration is going to be held there at the memorial as well. There's a play that's going to be performed this week. Discussions about Thurgood Marshall and desegregation are going on. All of those details for those events can be found on our website, KRON4.com.
Well, I'm so happy that you shed light on this part of Bay Area history that I'm sure a lot of people did not know about.
No idea.
And you said you heard about it from the mayor of Pinole. He kind of let you know that this was happening, and there's this service. How else are they trying to honor these courageous men?
So just a couple of years ago, the Navy released some of the land from their former base, and it is going to be turned into a park named for Thurgood Marshall and the Port Chicago 50. That's in development now, but it'll probably take another decade before it's fully up and available. I do want to give a shout out to San Francisco State University. They have the SF Bay Archives, which is where all of that video comes from, and anyone can actually watch the documentary that was done back in 1990 that KRON4 did. That also, there's a link on our website for that as well.
And that those posts from the port are still standing there now.
I asked that question. I was like, are these the original posts? And there are those original posts, and there was another set for a pier that was being built so that they could load 4 ships at a time. They were already loading 2 at a time, and that's how everyone was going very fast. And obviously, without the proper safety measures in place, they
just wanted to be trained on the right way to do it, so it wouldn't happen again.
Yeah, and hopefully, you know, obviously nothing like this has happened again. This was the worst military disaster to happen at home base ever. So it's a very interesting story. All of the men that we had interviews with in that documentary were incredible. 2 of them apparently had become friends later in life. They didn't even know that they were both at Port Chicago. It was much later that they finally talked about it, because for a lot of men it was embarrassing to talk about because they didn't want people to think that they were mutinous. And also, just as you saw, you know, very difficult to talk about as well, very emotional. So
great story. Good to see you. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you.
We also have a statement here from Oakland Congressman Barbara Lee. She called today's decision a monumental day for justice. She released the statement. It reads in part here: I appreciate the Secretary of the Navy taking this crucial action on the 80th anniversary of this tragic event. It's fitting that these men are not only exonerated, but honored for their service to this country.